Well, hello there.
Hi there.
It took you forever to call me. I've been waiting and waiting.
Really? What were you waiting for me to call about?
Well, I think about Honeymoon.
Yeah? Well, I was going to say for episode number 258 of the Vicis Interimo show. But yeah, Honeymoon.
That's
Not the honeymoon, but...
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not The Honeymoon.
Okay.
Though there's a lot of movies called Honeymoon and The Honeymoon. There's a lot of them out there.
Okay.
Welcome to the Vicis Interimo 30 Minutes to Kill podcast.
Well, first of all, we should let people know you are listening to the Vicis Interimo show, 30 Minutes to Kill, more or less. A horror entertainment show featuring horror, suspense, and psychological thrillers. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher's, Podomatic, and just about anywhere.
Pod Pickle.
And Blueberry.
Blueberry.
Type in VICISINTERIMO and see what you get. I am Michael Mad Saxon Jones here with my lovely wife and co-host Lori.
I've already said hello.
Okay. Generally, we have 4 segments to each show. Laid to Rest, a movie review, Garbage In, Garbage Out, and a Crawling Chaos. Laid to Rest, we recap old shows and information we may have missed. We do a movie review. This week's movie is...
Honeymoon.
And next we have Garbage In, Garbage Out, where we talk about TV shows, books, or anything we may have caught or done over the last week. And end with a Crawling Chaos, a topic or fact aid we have never talked about before on the show.
Fact aid?
Stop it. Sometimes silly, sometimes serious, always chaotic. All right, so let's just get right into it and say, instead of patching up anything from old shows or anything like that, we'll just concentrate on what's going to be upcoming here. We've got a lot of podcasts coming at you fast and furious. Next one will be The Forest, followed by The Quiet Ones, 10 Cloverfield Lane, The Visit, and Lights Out. And maybe we'll have some other surprises in there along the way or what have you. But that's what you folks have to look forward to should you come back and enjoy the show again. In the meantime, let's get to Honeymoon.
Okay.
So we didn't get a regular wedding cake. We decided on something that was special for us instead.
I love you, honeybee.
So this is the famous family cottage.
Do you like it?
Here's what I see. The woods. A lake. No one around. B? This isn't funny. B? Please! B! You okay? I couldn't find you.
Is he sleepwalking? I'm fine.
How's my little zombie face this morning?
I made the coffee. I could be human.
What's going on with you? You feel distant, different. Did something happen in the woods?
Come with some defense.
What's this?
They're mosquito bites.
They don't look like bug bites.
You're acting crazy. You should leave. You're not safe.
What's going on? We need to leave.
You can't.
Where did you put the keys? Where are the keys? Who's out there? Who's shining a light?
I want to protect you.
Where's my wife? You look like her, but you're not her. Talk to me! Tell me what's going on! Tell me what's going on!
Something bad happened to me. Something bad happened to me in the woods.
Well, Honeymoon is from 2014,
Mm-hmm.
and it's rated R.
Yeah.
And it's an hour and 27 minutes.
All right.
And it also is starring Rose Leslie.
Yeah.
So if you're a Game of Thrones fan, she's Ygritte.
Yes, and you miss her not saying, "You know nothing, Jon Snow."
You just had to say that.
I had to say that.
All right. Well, soon after arriving at a secluded woodland cabin, a honeymooning couple sees their bliss evaporate when a sleepwalking incident leads to increasingly odd behavior by the bride and mounting paranoia on the part of her groom.
So,
Sorry.
I was going to say I alluded to it. I mentioned this last week, well, last show anyway.
Yeah.
That there were some issues with this movie. We watched several of them not knowing what to expect. This is another one, had no preconceived notions going into the movie.
Uh-huh.
And what did you think about it?
I liked it.
With a caveat.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Yes.
Is it?
We maybe should have learned more about, because I want to say it has the feel of a low budget movie, which that's not a problem.
Uh-huh.
It maybe had a couple of the problems that sometimes the lower budget movies have.
Okay.
The acting was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Rose Leslie is lovely.
Yes.
I liked the guy who played her new husband.
Yes.
There was very few characters in it.
Was that Harry Treadway, I believe his name was?
Yes.
And yeah, all solid and stuff. Where?
And these aren't the problem. I'm naming the things that were good about it.
Okay. What was the problem then?
I don't know.
Okay, I think I can tell you.
Okay, good.
Well, this is my thought.
Okay.
Do you want to say any more about the story? I don't want to do any spoilers or anything.
No.
So.
But let's say a little more.
Okay.
Because when I think I put this on our list because Rose Leslie was in. I wanted to see her as somebody other than Ygritte.
Yes.
Just because that's the only thing right now that I knew her from.
Uh-huh.
So I put it on there and I read the synopsis. And I was like, oh, okay, well, honeymooning couple, out in a secluded cabin, and she starts acting freaky. All right, that's all I knew. She does start acting freaky. It says a sleepwalking incident.
Mm-hmm.
She does go sleepwalking, and something happens while she's out there, and then you meet a couple. She actually, I guess this was like her summer.
Her family. It was her family cabin that they
Yes.
that they were honeymooning in, basically.
Yes. So she grew up around there. It was her summer home when she was young.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually go into town and try to go to it's like a little cafe or diner kind of thing, or a store, shop, all-purpose
type thing. General store, general kind of.
Yeah, and runs into an old, I was going to say boyfriend, not maybe a summer romance childhood thing,
right.
A guy that she knew, and he's there with his wife, and he's acting freaky, and his wife is acting freaky.
Yeah.
So I liked that there was more going on than just, because at first I was like, that's kind of intriguing. A couple goes out, it's just going to be these two people, and she's going to start acting weird. We've seen movies like that, like Bug, or
right.
I don't know, where
I love
where
Bug.
There's only like two characters, and it's more of like a almost
character study.
Yeah, you're just watching these two people interact. But I found it interesting once they introduced a couple more people, and they're acting just as weird.
So
it was like something actually is going on here.
For me, what made it good and different was the same thing that I had a problem with. The mystery was so deep and disturbing that without getting a clear, definitive answer,
Right.
it wasn't satisfying at the end.
Okay, that's actually, thank you for saying that.
Because I've got another perfect example of that, which is the story by Stephen King of the Colorado Kid. Not, we know Haven, the TV show, was loosely based on it, but very loosely. But that was the whole point of the Colorado Kid and with truth being stranger than fiction, when you have these mysteries that are so bizarre that don't have a clear answer to them, it just winds up being frustrating. And I think that's what this movie suffered from in the end.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I enjoyed it. I liked it while it was on. It was great.
Right.
We got to the end. I was even okay with that. But I've got to score it low, and I've got to be very cautious with a recommend on it because it wasn't fulfilling when we got to the end of it.
Right, because we're not going to do spoilers, but the first night that something odd happens, it's just really super brief, and the type of thing that happens, I was like, oh, well, it's going to be such and such. Like, I knew right away.
Right.
It was unmistakable.
Right.
But then as the story is progressing, I was like, okay, well, I think that's what it is, but it was enough mystery to keep me hanging on. I wasn't like, when is this stupid thing going to be done? Like, I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked
I was.
But like you said, when everything finally, like the end, I don't want to say it's vague. I mean, you do find out, and it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, did we want more? Did we need something else?
I think it needed to be just yes. I think when you don't have, and I'm going to just use general terms here, when you don't have a villain to hang your hat on, if you don't have,
right,
you know what I mean? If you don't have a clear cut person or thing,
you need to know who the danger. Yeah,
you need to know where that's coming from, and if you don't have that, it. Well,
I guess that's like you said. I mean, the mystery was pretty thick.
Yeah.
Because it's like, is she a danger? Is something wrong with her? Are the other people in town? You know, you meet the guy and he's acting a little freaky. You meet his wife, she's acting a little freaky. Yeah. You know, it's basically you're just kind of feeling for the guy.
All of these things you can kind of play along with. We had our theories, we had our ideas, and some of them were kind of outrageous and outlandish and stuff on my part, which I enjoyed because any movie that makes me think, we always talk about being about the story.
Yes.
Any movie that can make you think and make you discuss while it's going on or, you know, whatever, that's a good thing. And that movie, this movie had those things.
Yes.
But, I was happy with the end of it, but I wasn't satisfied with the end of it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. And that's why I'm giving it 3 out of 5.
Same here.
Because I liked it.
Yeah.
Because I liked it. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I would be very cautious to recommend it.
Yes.
If you're curious, go for it. Would you like to talk about why it's rated R?
Why was it?
There's a couple disturbing moments in there.
There are some I was going to say, actually I was going to talk about the things that we didn't talk about the last time we talked about a film, but things like the special effects, though you mentioned low budget early on and having a small cast, etc. Some really good special effects here.
Yeah, it didn't have that.
Gory?
Yeah, it didn't have that problem at all.
No, and that's what I'm saying. It had this in there and stuff. So there had those things that sometimes you worry when you hear low budget or whatever.
Right.
So it had.
Sometimes it's just a feeling.
Yeah.
Like I can't. I can't
quantify it.
It didn't have any big problems.
Yeah.
That I can really, I don't know.
And so you were talking about this being R-rated. There might have been a little bit of language.
Well, there's a scene where she's locked herself in the bathroom and he's trying to figure out what she's doing, and